Hey everybody, back at it again, the Vinyl Village garage, or I guess you could say now into the driveway. We keep expanding the fun, I guess you could say. The Outback Smokehouse back again. This time is for more of a, I guess not necessary repair, but kind of a wanted repair. The air conditioning is not operating properly. It kind of turns on and off on its own, doesn't seem to be working right. And what I found out here is kind of interesting. I'm gonna see if we can't dock this thing up without getting too carried away, but let me show you what it's doing. Okay. Now inside the car, the air conditioning is turned on. The compressor is right up here on top. This is the compressor repair tool, known as a hammer. But what's happening here is the air gap on the compressor clutch is too large. If you give it a little tap, look at that, now it's spinning. So what I'm going to attempt to do is adjust that air gap so the air conditioning keeps working. And if I go inside the car and just cycle the AC switch on and off, you'll see this won't be spinning anymore, but it will be turned back on. We will turn compressor off, turn it back on. Let's just go see. Again, now you can see this compressor is not spinning. If we just give it a little tap here, now it's spinning. So again, I'm gonna try to adjust that air gap, see what happens. Well, the next step is going to be to get the compressor clutch off. There's shims behind this piece here. And you can actually then bring the air gap closer so the magnetic coil can pull that thing shut. To do that, this center bolt needs to be removed. Well, if you try to turn the bolt, the whole thing just spins. So, and once that bolt's out, then you put jack bolts, which appear to be about a 6mm bolt, pretty small bolt, in there. You can use to turn them a little bit of time and eventually walk this off. But after digging through my junk drawer for about 10 minutes, I finally found 3 bolts that would work. So when a guy typically works on a bunch of vintage cars that are older, as for American cars, well, metric bolts aren't super common, but I did find 3 of them. But the idea here is you screw these into these holes, and what I can do then is put a screwdriver between the bolts or something to keep that compressor from turning, and break that center bolt loose, and then run these in like jack bolts and pull that compressor apart. Of course, I can't find 3 of the same size, so one's a different size socket. So it just makes it more fun. Alright. I'll see about getting that center one loose. This bolt out. Put that on here. Stay. Now, keep running these in, like say 2 or 3 turns each into a circle motion until this finally pulls that whole compressor clutch off. All right. Now you can see the gap is getting much larger as you work these bolts out in a circle. Alright, so once you get the bolt screwed in far enough, this actually find it to kind of pop off and wiggle it out of there. Now be careful. There should be shim 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure how many, but there'll be a handful of shims inside. They actually kind of turn on their side there. See, there's actually 2 of them in there. So I've got a little magnet. I'm gonna fish those out. Now the thing becomes, how many shims do you take out? Leave them both out? Take only one out? The gap was pretty big, so you go too tight, it drags. Too loose, back to the same problem. But I'm gonna roll the dice and leave both of them out and see how it goes. So I'm gonna get these bolts back out of this as the jack bolts out of that for the puller, and then I'll work on getting that put back on. So I'm gonna take these bolts out as my next step. Okay, as you can see here, the bolts are removed, so I've left all the shims out, so I don't worry about anything falling out of it necessarily, but now I got to get it put back on there. It is kind of a press or a snug fit, and I really haven't decided how we'll get that back on there. A longer bolt of the center bolt that holds it on, longer one like a and screw it in and kind of use it as a press and press it back on might work, but I'll have to go back and dig in the junk drawer for another, and it appears to be maybe about an 8mm bolt. So I'm gonna go dig for a bolt, see what I can find, or come up with a plan here. Well, I wasn't able to find a longer 8mm bolt in my junk drawer. Like I said, don't do a lot of metric stuff typically, but I did find what I'm gonna call the next best thing. I just fixed on one of the other episodes, the one size fits all makes everything happen hammer. This thing's a fantastic tool. I'm gonna attempt to kind of just that thing on there. All right, check this out. Not only did that work fantastic for installing it, but check out this air gap. The compressor still spins, no noise. So I have enough of an air gap, it should spin just fine and engage every time positively. So the next step is snug up that bolt and fire this thing up and see what happens. Now, in case you didn't see this before when I took it apart, I put 2 of the bolts back in, kind of lay the screwdriver in here. It keeps the compressor from spinning because it'll actually be able to lock it in place. And just snug that bolt down. There's probably an actual factual torque spec, but it's right about there. I'm gonna take these 2 bolts out. Let's fire this thing up and see what it does. Oh well. All right, moment of truth. It's spinning without having to use the adjuster tool anymore, so I'm going to say that's going to work just fine. Well, I guess you could say that was another easy fix, a free one essentially. It's all I had to do is take out these little shims in that compressor. Now, a new compressor would have also fixed it. It would have been properly set, hopefully from the factory, the air gap on the compressor clutch. But I've got probably more time trying to find the bolts to pull the clutch apart than actually doing this repair. And well, now it won't be a problem with the air conditioning, because you know when the air conditioning doesn't work, it's not cool. I know I've used that joke probably before, but I just think it's funny. But regardless, easy fix, done at home, basic hand tools, nothing special. You could probably use a longer bolt to press the compressor back together, but air hammer is kind of my friend. All the guys at work absolutely hate that thing, but man, I love that tool. So again, I guess I hope that helps you out. Maybe it's a tip that you might find useful. That probably holds true to a lot of air compressors, not just Subaru, but this time around, that one wasn't too bad. It's right on top, easy to get to. So give it a shot. What have you got to lose? So I'm gonna get out of here. It's about 8 o'clock. I like to shut down the garage here at 8 o'clock so I get back to my normal life and, you know, be nice to my neighbors. Appreciate them putting up with my crazy, I guess you could say. But again, thanks for watching. Appreciate you taking the time to check us out. And if you like what you see, hey, help me out. Please subscribe, share with your friends. If you think someone could use this tip, hey, show them this video. I'm sure it could be very helpful for many cars. So again, appreciate you following us on our journey here. And then I guess I'll get wrapped up, put my tools away, and we'll see you next time.